welcome everybody. Thanks for joining our monthly CCL meeting. Good to see a lot of people. Thanks for joining.
Oh, is Lila here?
She just.
Hi there. Thanks for joining.
Hi, Paul.
Which year? Oh, you already did, Ron. Okay, sorry. Okay, again, welcome everybody. So for tonight, we'll do a little connection before content, go through the usual CCL values, mission, policy agenda. We'll cover what's, well, the sad news about legislative priorities that we're going to have to pick up for next year, and one legislative priority that remains in play. And then talk a little bit about some of the monthly highlights. And sure, that's fine, Noel.
Sorry.
No, it's okay. And then talk about some updates, actions, and events in the events in the near future and events coming up in the following months. So, okay, so connection before content. Feel free to shout out or put in the chat, what is your favorite energy savings device and why?
Well, I'll shout out because I've never thought about this before, but it seems bizarre enough to be worthy of saying something about it. My favorite energy saving device is a broom. This is in contrast to a leaf blower and vacuum cleaners and all that kind of stuff. And on top of that, it gives great exercise.
Mine is equally mundane. My favorite is the clothesline. I actually love hanging up clothes and bringing them down and having the towels a little stiff. I just think it's much better than a dryer.
I would echo both of those. I was just thinking, Eric, I actually think the broom can do a much better job at times than the vacuum cleaner. And to you, Helen, totally agree. The nice smell of the clothes from the sun drying them out. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, my favorite one is an affordable little portable induction cooktop hot plate. It's powerful and it's fast. And it has precise temperature settings, so you don't have to guess how to, it's digital. You can say, I want power setting number 6, and you get it every time. And it plugs into a regular 3-pin household plug. So if you move, you can take it with you. So that's my favorite one.
Sounds sort of like balcony solar. Wish the legislators understood that. Anyways.
Yeah, Ron stole mine. I like my portable induction cooktop. I also have a solar generator, so I can take the two to the beach. And at home, when I do pasta or boiling anything, I have it out on the lanai, so I don't make the kitchen all steamy.
Oh, very good. Yeah.
You provide for your neighbors too, so that's great.
I want to do a plug on the induction cooktop. So we replaced our gas range, our gas cooktop years ago with a induction version, and it heats as fast as gas. Don't have to deal with the fumes, local air pollution, and then importantly, it's very efficient. And I also want to highlight that there's new technology out there that incorporates a small battery into the cooktop, so you can actually utilize 110 versus a 220 line for a full-blown cooktop.
Wow, didn't know about that. And I like your comment about the electric car, Noel, and I have to add, an EV with bidirectional charging, i.e. car to home, as they call it, V2H. Keeps the lights on and the fridge on during a power outage. It's a wonderful feature. So anyway, yeah.
Sorry, which car do you have, Ron, that has the bidirectional?
It's a Kia Niro EV.
So it's a
2024.
newer one then, I guess.
It's 2024, so yeah, it's somewhat newer. Yeah.
We should have gotten that model instead. Okay, thanks. Anybody else? Or
I see Bill has heat pump.
Yep.
Yay for heat pumps.
very nice.
Very efficient.
He actually lives in a cold weather place. So. Okay. Well, thanks everybody. Appreciate you playing along. A lot of good ideas here. May have to replace our stove after all the hype here. Hey, Ruth, core values.
Yes, here. Thank you. Thank you, Paul. So the core values are here in this slide. You can see them: focus, optimism, diversity, relationships, integrity, being nonpartisan, and personal power. So I would like to focus on focus tonight. We are focused on solving climate change. We move Congress to pass big solutions that will ensure a healthy climate. We also work on complementary solutions that help us work together in our communities and foster a more collaborative environment in Congress. So the latter is what we've dropped back to these positions, both nationally and statewide. Thank you.
Yeah, I have to say thanks, Ruth, for doing this slide every time, but choosing a different thing on which to highlight. So thank you. Appreciate it.
So CCL's mission is Citizens Climate Lobby empowers everyday people to bridge divides and build political will for effective climate solutions in Congress.
Thank you. And Ron.
Yeah, let me just put something in the chat there. Okay. Let's see, we're looking at CCL's policy commitments. There are 3 policy commitments that guide our work. One is reducing emissions. We're talking greenhouse gases, CO2, methane, black carbon, particulate matter 2.5. And then secondly, remove climate pollution that's already up there in the atmosphere. This could be via natural systems such as reforestation, regenerative agriculture, and also technology, carbon capture and sequestration. And then finally, we want to try to protect people through this difficult transition away from fossil fuels to clean energy. And so we look for policies that do not unfairly burden lower income households financially, such as carbon cashback and carbon fee and dividend, which return pollution fees paid by fossil fuel polluters to U.S. households and individuals.
Thank you, Ron. So speaking of carbon sequestration, you can go down to the bottom of the table, and that is the only bill that has survived so far that Carbon Cashback Hawaii and or CCL have been supporting in Hawaii's legislative session. Unfortunately, there's a lot of red here in terms of bills that failed to make it to conference committee. I think everybody's pretty familiar with the woes of carbon cashback. On the House side, it made it through EEP, but Finance decided not to hear it. On the Senate side, it never got a hearing. Balcony solar, on the Senate side, Wakai's bill made it across to the House and made it through EEP, but just as the House version by Rep. Lee, well, sorry, not quite the same, but basically CPC killed it. The House bill, they heard it and deferred it. The Senate version, Wakai's, they never even heard it. Cleaner electricity generation, I'm actually not as familiar as I probably should be. Can thank Senator Gabbard for introducing a host of bills in this area, but unfortunately, none of them went that far. For clean vehicles, Noel, I don't know if you want to speak to that one.
We're closer to the to the finish line, but we didn't quite make it. How's that?
That's
Yeah.
fine.
So there were a few bills that were related to clean transportation, essentially accelerating the adoption of electric vehicles. They spanned rebate programs designed to allow low, moderate income households to be able to afford EVs, to a number of bills designed to increase public charging infrastructure. Unfortunately, those didn't make it through. So, I'm confident that in the next session we'll have more progress across all of these different areas, given the realities that we're now seeing with energy.
Yes, Ruta.
I would like us to ask to have a bill that says that any bill can only be killed by vote. I get so angry when somebody just decides not to hear it. It's like, what gave them the option to do that? It's totally wrong. We should know who votes against any bill.
Yeah, I guess I would add to that, Ruta, that also in the committees where the bills are deferred and you have no idea how the committee members voted, it's just deferred. I mean, it seems at least you could make those votes public. Do you know anybody pushing for this, Ruta?
No, I don't. I just know that that's my anger. Well, it's because I came from places where you could only kill a vote by vote. And it seems to me that makes it much more democratic. It lets us know, it gives them responsibility for making that decision instead of just letting it float away.
But then I guess I'm curious, so how would you deal with the situation if they have something like 3,000 bills? How are they all going to get a hearing?
By extending the session, by making the sessions go a year would be best, but even into several more months. Because maybe they didn't used to get this many, but we're certainly getting them in a little bit more every year.
Right.
And it's not healthy for us or for the legislators.
You can also limit the number of bills going in. I mean, you could limit the number of bills going in.
Right.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, Ruta. And we had a situation where, after the fact, it became obvious that the committee chair and the committee had clearly decided that they were going to vote down a good bill. And we were in the room or on Zoom participating, and we got cut short. Oh, testimony only a minute. Oh, now we're running behind. Testimony only half a minute. Oh, are you for or against it? Tell me that, and then we'll move on. I mean, it was just very rude of a particular committee chair to treat testifiers in that manner. And sure enough, the vote comes out, okay, we're going to defer that bill. It's dead. And they knew already. And they were just going through the motions, listening to us folks that had spent a lot of time preparing testimony and then getting basically shut down.
Right.
I'm not going to name any names, but some of us know who. Well, I totally agree with you.
So can I put you on the spot, Lila, or would you rather just move on?
We're really in sync, Paul, because I just texted Noel and I said, should I, is there an opportunity for me to clarify the process? So just for a few minutes, if you don't mind, and I feel your frustration, everyone. The bills are not dead. They are lying in wait, is what I always say, because this is a biennium. So the bills were introduced January 2025. We're going through now January 2026. We're going through until May 2027. 27, right?
It's the other way, right?
Oh,
Isn't this
no,
the
that's
second
right.
year of the
This,
biennium? So
yeah, this is the end. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That's right. This, they are dead because this is the biennium.
right.
So we have to start over again in January 27 for 27, 28. And I know it's frustrating, and they're rude. I guess what I'm looking at this is, what are they afraid of? What is the fear in these bills? The language, of course, that, people are when you would ever talk about climate change, that evokes emotions. If we were talking about the reality that islands sink, waters rise, how are we going to protect our people without labeling, what the content is? We might have a better chance to at least have more people feel, more legislators feel more comfortable about supporting the bills. These are all really, really good ideas, and I don't know them well enough to know what's the fear. What would change so much that the folks making these decisions would be voted out of office, because that's what they're worried about. If they support something that's going to hurt people or hurt corporations or hurt somebody, somebody can, use that against them. So I don't know. And these folks here, they're not the power brokers,
You mean the legislators? Is that
the
what?
ones that are listed, right? Like Lorena Noy, really. I mean, bless her heart. How can we? I always look at how can we support them, and who's behind them, who helped them write this bill. Number one, if it's us, awesome. So now, how can we help support them, and also teach those who are testifying how to hold them accountable when you're testifying. That's one of the reasons I ran, is because I didn't feel that we were very respectful to the public when they come in. The public also needs to know how best to testify and stand face to face with the legislators and not be intimidated. So I don't know if that helps, Paul. Yeah.
No, appreciate it from an insider's perspective. So thank you. And just to be clear, I think everybody on the call knows that Lila served in the House for a few years. So anyways, Lila, appreciate your expert.
Till I became persona non grata, right?
Well, that may be happening to some of us testifiers as well. But anyways,
I'd like to just touch on, I'm sorry for dragging this on a bit, with what Ruta had commented on, and maybe Lila, you can also respond to this. So the challenge is that you have a limited session, right? It's a very relatively short. I think there are efforts to try to lengthen it. It's going to be, hopefully that happens, but let's assume it doesn't. The challenge is that you have all these bills that are coming through at the front end, 3,000 or something like that. And if you look at some of the bills that are related to balcony solar, to all these different things we're concerned about, there often is like overlapping, similar intentions, different bills with overlaps, right? Mm-hmm. And I just wonder if we had fewer bills for some of these key issues, like one or two, and then you have everybody who's really interested in these measures rally for that one bill, for example. So you have fewer bills talking about a certain issue, and you have a lot of people, a lot of organizations clamoring for the same thing. It just may change the attention and the focus, and also the support for these bills. I can't help but think that that redundancy is working against us.
And that's a really good point, Noel. If I could just jump in and bring some conclusion to my comment. Legislators don't do the research. I'm sorry. And they're relying on their staff to tell them whether a bill is good or not. If there was a way to find a couple of allies to have an info briefing or one or two info briefings on those two, major bills that Noel might be talking about, package bills. That might be one of the ways as well to give the legislators who are either on the line or they don't know, and they're just going to follow somebody, give them some substance to think about. And those info briefings come in the intersession, right before session starts.
To get an info briefing, I assume though you need a legislator to sponsor that. Is it?
To convene it, yes, and it's usually the chair of that committee. So if Lowen is a chair, and she's a kindred spirit, then suggesting for her to have an info briefing and actually helping her with the agenda. What would the content be? Who would be coming and giving information? It's not testimony, it's information,
Right.
to enlighten, the legislators. I don't know what balcony solar is, but Wakai doesn't know, bless his heart, and McKelvey either. But they're not stupid, and they're not mean people. They just don't know very much. I'm surprised at Chris, but perhaps, we can navigate to get closer to Chris Lee. I don't know. The info briefing is helpful.
When you said you're surprised at Chris, are you referring to the balcony solar? Because just to be clear, that's Mike Lee on the House side, not Chris Lee.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. No,
just.
I'm sorry. Okay. No, it was, I'm sorry. I see the House bills. Yeah. No, Chris Lee is culture and the arts or something. And he was at one time with environment. Right. The committees have really changed. And so it's really, I think it would behoove us to take a look at what they think their mission is. Because Hawaiian Affairs doesn't stand alone anymore. It's under judiciary. It needs to be framed in a certain way. Just a thought.
Okay. Thank you.
That's a good thought. Yep. And it kind of leads in, Paul, I think, to this next slide here. Communicating with our legislators, communicating with our legislative aides, and our mission, Citizen Climate Lobby, empowers everyday people to bridge divides. What does that actually mean? Well, Citizens Climate Lobby is doing a 9-part series, what they're calling Bridge Training. And just a few words about it. And then Keith and I are going to role play, and he's going to be a kind of a combative senator, and I'm going to try to be a liaison or a CCL lobbyist, and we'll have a little dialogue back and forth, and it might be fun. You'll see how it plays out. So just about the bridge training, it draws on current research outlined best, I think, in Jonathan Haidt's book, The Righteous Mind, subtitled Why Good People Are Divided by Politics and Religion. It's in, by the way, our great Hawaii State Library system. Bridge training explores insights from social and behavioral science that can help us improve our lobby communications in line with our mission to bridge divides. What you're about to hear is a conversation between a CCL lobbyist named Ron, played by Ron, and a CCL state senator named Keith, played by Keith. Senator Keith is not a villain. He's a fiscal conservative, however, who generally cares about his county. He's skeptical of federal mandates and has heard a lot of climate pitches that he doesn't find at all convincing. Ron, however, is a left-leaning liberal. His job isn't to win an argument here. It's to listen first, to try to find genuine common ground and translate CCL's ask in a way that Keith is more inclined to consider or accept. In real life, lobby conversations probably shouldn't begin with CCL saying, please sign on to support whatever it is, permitting reform. Rather, better to start with someone else's concerns. Excuse me. Ron has a specific ask at the end. You might watch for the moment that Ron shifts his frame from please support permitting reform to simply, I'd like you to please read the proposal and notice what makes it land or not land. I'd appreciate your perspective. This is not manipulation. It's about having humility and empathy and respect for the moral foundations of the person you're talking to. So here we go. We're in Senator Keith's office. We just came in and said hi and sat down. Senator Keith.
So, appreciate you coming in. I'll be honest with you. We've got real problems in this county. Roads, water infrastructure, hospitals that have been running on thin margins for 3 years.
Well, I hear you on that. You certainly do have a lot of urgent problems you're dealing with right now. Let me ask, can I ask you something before I make my pitch?
Sure.
Let me ask you, what's your biggest frustration with how energy development has worked in this county? Not climate, just energy. What feels wrong about how these decisions get made?
Well, honestly, nobody asked us. We find out a company was filed for a federal permit on a project, and we're basically the last often to know. It's happened twice now. Once with the LNG terminal, and once with an onshore wind proposal. Both times, the projects and the jobs promised didn't materialize the way they promised them.
Wow, that's really important. So it's not that you're opposed to energy development particularly.
No, not at all. We need the tax base. We need the jobs. I want my county to actually have a seat at the table when these decisions get made.
Well, that certainly makes a lot of sense. One of the things that I've learned that's a big part of the problem is how outdated and slow the current permitting system is. The permitting reform CCL is talking about is aimed at fixing that, making the process faster, making it more predictable, while ensuring projects are done with strong local engagement right from the start.
I'd say I'd heard that before, and then I'll watch it not happen.
Well, that's fair. There are definitely proposals out there that just focus on speed. But the approach we're supporting is about doing both, building energy faster and smarter so communities aren't left waiting for years and aren't left out of the conversation. Right now, the system is so slow, it doesn't really serve anyone well, including local governments like yours.
So you're saying the issue is just isn't speed. It's that the whole process isn't working the way it should.
Exactly. We're going to need a lot more energy infrastructure in the coming years, transmission, generation, all of it, just to keep up with demand while keeping costs down.
Yeah, I see that. I'm still a bit wary of signing on to something that creates more federal mandates.
Yeah, that's a good instinct. The way I think about it is the current system already is federal overreach. It's slow, unpredictable, and often keeps local projects from moving forward at all. Reform is really about cutting through unnecessary delay and making the process more efficient and transparent.
Say more about that.
Well, right now, projects can take 8 or even 10 years to get through federal review. That times when nothing gets built, costs go up, and communities don't see the benefits they were promised. We're encouraging Congress to fix that, reduce unnecessary delays, keeping the project safe, and ensuring communities are meaningfully engaged along the way.
So, what exactly does that statement say?
Well, it calls on Congress to make permitting reform a priority so that we can build energy infrastructure faster, meet growing demand, strengthen local economies, all while making sure projects are done responsibly and with community engagement. We need a system that works much better for places like your county.
Well, I'm flattered that our county is being considered to be so important as to be an example of any model policy.
Well, fair enough. But I'd like you to please read it carefully. Feedback from leaders like you is what makes these efforts stronger. You've actually lived the challenges that this is trying to fix.
Well, send it to me. I'll look at it before the weekends. I'm not sending anything today, but I'm not saying no.
Great. That's all I'm asking. And if anything in it doesn't sound or sit right with you, I'd really value your perspective.
All right, send it over.
Thank you, Senator. I appreciate the conversation. Any comments? Dave, Chun, you've been on the other end of this. I don't need a comment. Or not. That's
Dave,
okay.
Noel.
No comments. I'm just listening.
Okay. But you will read the proposal. I bet you will.
I'll do my best.
Thanks, guys. I thought it was very instructive, and it highlights the importance of seeking to first understand, right? Understand Ron understanding Keith's concern, Senator Keith. I like how that sounds. The concern, and then utilizing that as a way to start to build, a connection, right? And then that way, you're almost like establishing a relationship, so to speak, as you're going through this dialogue. And then Keith, once that is established, it's really hard to be rude, So anyway, that was good. Thank you.
How likely is it for us to actually be able to do that?
So, Dave, are you willing to, honestly, you've been on the other spot. You've had to listen to us from CCL come into your office. And Lila, I'd be curious too. You guys are, what is your take on this approach to Ruta's question?
Do you want to go first, Dave? He's listening.
No, you go ahead, Lila.
Okay, I can call from the inside. I don't know how to do the reactions, to do the clapping, or the thumbs up. But that was really, really well done. And what I appreciated is, as Noel said, the relationship is that Ron kept referring, and you heard it from Keith also saying, well, thank you for considering my district or my county. Ron kept referring to his backyard, in your county, or this would be something for your people. That's really, really important, because they're the people that reelect the electeds. And so if they can at least put on their brochure that they introduced a bill or supported a bill that supported the public, it speaks well for them. I haven't seen many, I want to say, flyers or brochures from electeds during session, but afterward they usually put a newsletter together and share what they did. I know. Did you folks rehearse this?
A couple times.
Yes, we did.
Okay. Okay.
We did rehearse it, and I can say it's from Bridge Training Unit number 3, and in Bridge Training Unit 3, CCL's staff person Brett Cease and another staff person, they gave this dialogue presentation as part of Bridge Training Unit number 3. So we stole it from them. And
the reason I asked is because when you were talking, there was a moment when Keith paused. Maybe you were thinking of what to say or what the dialogue was supposed to be, but that's the moment that you want to wait when you're talking to legislators. Is that because there's something in, like the dogs, they go, huh? there's something that you say that touches them in the heart, not necessarily in the head. And I love the way that you started with a question. You know, it's not coming in, well, we want this and this is how it's going to be. And if you don't do this, no, it's on the contrary. It's like, so what would be the most important, the most significant success that you might have in your district? Or something like that, what would make you feel like you really helped your district? And as Noelle said, relationship. And what I appreciated is your Ron's approach was not advocacy for what you want, but rather this is for the greater good. And how can we help you understand? How can we support you in supporting this? Basically, that was the message I got.
Yeah, good observation. That's exactly the message. I think you stated it real well.
Because I think when we go into when citizens come in and talk with legislators, there's already an angst or a sense that we're separate because they got elected and they're bigger than life and whatever. They're like us. They just happen to have a different position. And one that holds them accountable. It's so if we can help them help themselves and doing good at the same time, that would be really a win for everybody.
Yeah, typically your lawmaker will have lots to accomplish, and it's the trick to develop a collaboration. And this is a compelling idea or a vision, and let's work together to make this happen. And I've talked to lawmakers, and there are pauses. I'm sure they're thinking, well, what's the pipe fitter's going to say about that?
Well, yeah, and how is this going to work? And so we actually need to go in with a level playing field because you have the information. One of the things I just love about talking with Noelle, because this is not my field at all. I'm an educator. And so when we talk about early learning or parents or, community, that's different. This content is really, it could be overwhelming because there's so many pieces and so much to it. If you can help me not feel stupid as an elected person, and it's almost like helping me have the language, simple language that I can communicate with my colleagues.
Yeah, good points, Lila. And notice that in that dialogue, there was no mention of climate change.
Yes, beautiful. You talked about it. Yes.
Like you say, that can be a divisive thing. So we try to find out what's the, getting back to Bert's training, what's the moral foundation of the legislator we're talking about? What's his or her concerns? And let's not come from our point of view, God, the world's burning up, we're going to be all dead and by 2030. We don't go there. We go with, that the concern of the person we're talking to. And Bridge has a wonderful analogy that our moral foundations are intuitive. And the analogy of our intuition and our rationalization is an elephant with an elephant rider who's got a little stick or something, and he sits on top of the elephant's ears by their neck. And when something comes up, an issue comes up, our intuition tells us, I like it or I don't like it. And then the rider up on top, he might try to give an explanation, and it might be hard, but you've got to not talk to the rider. you got to talk to the elephant, and you got to know where the elephant is. And a wonderful example we had with friends just recently. Roberta and I were Zooming with a friend who's an artist, and Roberta said, I've got this thing that I'm working on. It's a quilt, and I've got a left-handed version and a right-handed version. And Becky, I respect your position, your experience and your knowledge. Which do you prefer? Do you prefer the left-hand version or the right-hand version? And she said right away, I like the right-hand version. And I go, wow, that's quick. That's intuition. And I asked her, I said, Becky, tell me, what was your reasoning? Why did you like that one? She didn't have an answer. It wasn't rational, intellectual. It was gut feeling. And that's what we have to respect when we talk to a legislator. What's their gut feeling? Where's their intuition? And can we talk to that thing? So anyway, I'm trying to learn from this bridge program. I think it's fabulous, and it's available freely to anyone.
Thanks, Ron. Thanks, Marla. And Dave, I'm not letting you off the hook. So, no, if you feel, I think we could benefit from, like I said, you being on the other side, but I won't pressure you anymore.
Well, I mean, Paul, at this stage of the game with our government, both at the federal level and I would say at the state level, it's difficult for me to address certain ways of approaching state legislators or elected members of Congress. We praise our elected officials all the time because it's like a self-fulfilling prophecy, But very few people in this country or in Hawaii, in my opinion, analyze the issues and vote according to what his or her policy priorities are. And so I have done very little lobbying. Okay, I've been on the other end. But what I always said, and you both, some of you heard me before. I think Ron, previously when you would come up to Congress, it's like, number one, we work as a staffer. I work for you. You don't work for me. Okay. So you don't have to be nice to me. You just be professional with me. Number two, while I appreciate the mac nuts and the coffee that you bring from Hawaii, the number one, the thing I want you to ask me is, okay, Dave, your boss signed on to XYZ bill. Okay. Thank him or her very much. But the next question I have for you is, how much skin in the game did he or she put in it? Signing on a bill is at least in Congress, it's like it's something to satisfy your constituents. But I want to know, did he or she do a floor speech? Did he or she go on the floor and talk to other colleagues? Did he or she engage in a personal conversation with different people in powerful committees, like maybe the Ways and Means Committee or the Energy and Commerce Committee, at least on the House side? I want to know this detail. I don't want to just know, oh, yeah, she signed on this and, end of story. I want to know how much flesh he or she put in the game. And then further than that, and the approach that I would take is the bill an authorizing bill? Is it an appropriations bill? Is it a bill that builds upon existing programs? Or is it a bill that will establish a new program? So I want to know all of that. And then, of course, what you folks already know, opposition research, who gave campaign funding to him or her, who's the chief of staff, what kind of people does she hire or he hires. But at the end of the day, Paul, my feeling from a citizen's point of view, me as a staffer, I work for you. You don't work for me. So let's get down to business.
Well, I appreciate your perspective, Dave. Yeah, though it may run somewhat different than what I think the bridge program is trying to get at, or what you were talking about, Lila. I think it's still valuable, right? And so there you go, Ruta, for two different perspectives. Okay. Anybody else?
Lila, maybe you have something on that since you're an elected official.
In the past, yes. I'm smiling because Dave would probably never come and see me. The gun people never came, the drug people never came. When I introduced the UN rights of indigenous people or the rights of the child, the churches descended on my office. And maybe I'm different, and that's why I'm not there anymore. But I really do believe, especially in Hawaii, maybe we don't have friends in the ledge. We want to have friends. Everybody wants to have friends, and in the ledge we want to be liked. And so the clicks that happen, or the sides that are taken, it's from the perspective or perception of who has the most influence and most power. And it doesn't necessarily mean who is the hardest or the nastiest. I don't know. I think Hawaii is a little bit different. Maybe not. When I was in college, I worked for Danny Noy in old times when his good friend was Senator Stevens from Alaska, and there was a different protocol. There was a different respect, not just parties, just among people. And I think what Ron and Keith were showing us is what I appreciated was respect. And even if we don't agree with each other, we're not going to try and kill each other.
So let me ask you a question, Lila, and this might be helpful for everyone else. Okay. You have the powerhouse, the chair of the Ways and Means Committee. He's a classic politician.
Yeah.
You have the Senate president, okay? Keeps everything close to his chest. You have the chair of the Senate Education Committee.
Yeah, right.
Okay. So how do you connect with these kind of people when you're just a fly?
So I'm an elected person. I'm a colleague, or I'm a citizen.
A citizen like you, me, like all of us here.
And so your question is, how do I connect with them?
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't take Donna or Donovan out to lunch. I would actually go and talk with them, not necessarily about the specifics of the balcony solar at the moment, but because trust is really what's important. They have to trust us.
Mm.
They have to trust that we have concrete information as citizens, that we're there not to propose climate change and because we're advocates, but because we really, really do care about them caring. And that public trust, that personal trust, I think we sometimes overlook that when we're looking at what achievement and success looks like. So, and to just, I don't know if this is just a side story. When I was working for a particular company last year, looking at how we can help the infrastructure of Hawaii, I'm walking out through the hallway on the Senate floor, and Donovan actually comes up and hugs me. And we were not good friends at all. And maybe he had said, "Hey, Berg, how are you?" Maybe he said that because I'm not in the building anymore. But even if I were in the building and disagreeing with him, because I would, and also Donna, it doesn't have to be an attack. And I think that's what my colleagues, at least in their stomach and their intuition, would appreciate, that I'm not an attacker. It may feel like a confrontation by those who I'm talking with because I have facts and I have information. But at another time when we have a chance to have a glass of wine together, I'll share with you some stories that with Robert Herkes when I was in the House, and he had some bills, and I was enemy number one to him until that changed. So I think it's probably a little It's more doable to navigate in Hawaii than perhaps at the national level. I don't know if that answered your question, Dave. It's
No, optimism is a beautiful thing, and that's what keeps me moving. Is optimism.
Thank you. It works, So does aloha.
Yeah.
So does aloha.
No, but I don't want to belabor the point, but it's just during my time at the council meetings, well, primarily in the city and county of Honolulu, okay, but also the state ledge. I've just gotten an opinion, a jaded opinion, that there are many members of elected officials who do not treat citizens with the respect that is required of an office, and that is why when I deal with things, I push back and I say, "Hey, you work for me. I don't work for you."
Okay.
Well,
Oh, go ahead, Keith, quickly, and then
I just say, yeah, we got a few things to do, and we're running out of time. Let's move on.
okay. But thanks for the text in the chat. Well, thanks for the discussion, folks. We'll skip ahead here and just want to highlight a few actions. I don't know if Noel or Ron, you want to say anything? And sorry, Eric, anything about what's going on the Big Island? Helen, if there's anything, or Ruta on Kauai? Doug, anything on Maui? I'll go, Noel, I'll go to you first, or I'll go to the Big Island first, and then.
Make me last, because I want to just briefly talk about the Electric Home Show.
Oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. Doug, anything on Maui you want to highlight?
No, thank you.
Okay, that was fast. Helen?
I'm with Doug. No.
Okay. All right, you guys are good.
We are going to have, we are going to be going to, on Earth Day, on the 22nd, we'll be in Kilauea.
Okay. Ruta, if you want to put any information in the chat, please feel free. Any event you want to promote on Kauai. For Honolulu, Noel's going to cover a big event in a couple weeks. We'll also point out there's the Honolulu Museum of Art. There'll be a bunch of tabling. The Climate Future Forum will be there among a number of other groups. So if you're on Oahu on the 19th, please stop by. I'll go quickly here. There's the summer conference. You can now register to either go to DC or I believe also virtually. So registration is open. I don't know, Ron, if you have a link to that, or Bill, if you have a link to that for people. And then the virtual inclusion conference, which I'm sure we'll hear more about when Karina is back in Hawaii and can talk more about that. So if you want to go to the next one, Noel, to your event.
Yeah, I just want to do a shout out here. There's the Electric Home Show being put up by Clean Technica. It's happening next weekend over in Honolulu at the Blaisdell. So you can get more information at electrichomeshow.com. There's a $8 ticket for the 2-day event. And Bill McKibben is actually going to be a keynote. There'll be all things efficiency, clean energy, electric vehicles, that sort of thing. So if you're in town and would like to have something interesting to look at and do, check this event out.
Okay, we can skip this since Virginia's not here, but just thanks to all who have contributed to, I would say, Carbon Cashback Hawaii and CCL being very successful when it comes to media. So thanks for those who have authored, co-authored, been ghostwriters, what have you. So thanks for all the efforts there. And last is for CCL members, or if you're not a CCL member, you should become one so you can log your action. And there's all sorts of rewards that come with that, but we're running out of time, so I can't go through all those. And what else was I going to say? Oh, and Ron's famous line. There should be 3 dots at the top. Please save the chat. All sorts of great information there. And thanks, everybody, for making time.
Thanks all.
Thank you.
Dave, thanks for the commentary. Same with you, Lila. Thank you.
Yes.
Thanks,
Yeah.
everybody. Aloha.
Aloha.
Well,
Good night from the East Coast.
Thanks,
go to
Dave.
bed. Take care.
Aloha.